What is going on, Lucid fans? Welcome back to Financial Journey. Today I want to talk to you about the latest data coming out showing that institutions are extremely bullish on Lucid. So I want to talk about that and share some additional information. Outside of that, there's one thing that I do want to bring up that is a little bit more of a concern. As I always tell you, I like to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I want to give you both aspects today. Before I get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe is always greatly appreciated. And with that, let's get right to it. So as far as institutions, we already do know that tentatively institutions absolutely love Lucid. And based on the latest round of 13Fs, it shows that a lot of big players such as Vanguard, BlackRock all increased their position very much significantly, showing an underlying belief in Lucid. But keep in mind, all these transactions that are from these 13Fs are and did occur during Q3. So you just have to take that into consideration because Q3, there was a lot of fear out in the market. So the fact that all these institutions increase their position very much because they see a big value in Lucid is very optimistic. Outside of that, I just want to give you an update with this. Last update was roughly about a month ago, and at that stage, there was 109 ETFs that did hold Lucid. As of right now, 111. So again, new ETFs increasing or adding brand new positions is always seen as very good. And to piggyback off of that, last update was around 96 million, I believe. So right now there's 106.12 million shares being held by US ETFs. So it goes to show once again a little bit more of a support that, of course, the price action has sucked lately. I'm not here to justify any of that. I'm here to say that behind the scenes, that institutions absolutely love Lucid. And when it comes down to Lucid and institutions have a long-term mentality. They're not just buying to flip it next week. They're buying for long-term, such as 2025 and so forth. So this is exactly the type of mentality that I'm trying to ingrain in a lot of retail investors. Keep in mind though, I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own due diligence at the end of the day. But latest news that did come out as far as stats goes, it is right here. So all Q3 2022, there was a hedge funds that did purchase 4.6 million call options. That is mind-blowingly high. And at the end of the day, even though it did decrease 35% from the previous quarter, which was 7.1 million, it still goes to show that institutions have a very long-term mentality and a very optimistic viewpoint of Lucid. And all 13F filers had a total of 28.35 million call options. So once again, that is one of the most bullish stats that's been coming out. So let me know your thoughts on that. Just wanted to give you a quick update from today. Keep in mind the market did end tentatively early today, and plus it is a Friday, so this is all the dark pool transactions as of today. So isn't too bad in the grand scheme of things. So let me know your thoughts on that. As far as the secondary market, there was some pretty big transactions today. Like I said, even though it was reduced hours, we had two very big transactions on the secondary market, one of which was 3.89 million, other 1.62 million. So a lot of big institutions are taking very much advantage of these discounted prices. So clearly, even enough so, 3.89 million at $10.02. Definitely, it's mind-blowing. So give yourself a shout out first and foremost. If you did buy today, bravo to yourself. I did buy in a couple days back at 10.06, but if it does successfully stay below 9 or even lower, I'm definitely going to be a very big buyer. So let me know your thoughts on that. Like I said, I always like to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly. Institutions has always been a very optimistic and good viewpoint in Lucid, but one negative that did come up recently, well, more so two things I just want to share with you. And like I said, I'm not necessarily bringing these up because I want to or because I'm bearish. I like to obviously inform a lot of investors, because what makes a good investor, you have to acknowledge everything. You can't just focus on the good. You have to focus on every aspect. So the two things that did come out that, in my opinion, might be a little bit more worrisome, one of which is this. So this tweet by Let's Go Lucid talks on overall how parts were incorrectly stacked and left damaged. And so in Q2, they did say that we are having a problem in the assembly line and we're going to fix it and things like that. In reality, if this is actually true, which he's talking and referring to this article right here, in this actual article, it does say potentially, yeah, things were stored incorrectly, and this is what resulted in Lucid's deficiency in the first half of 2022. So again, it's one of those things that is conflicting information to what Peter and Sherry did say during the Q2 earnings on how it was associated to obviously one step of the actual assembly line. So once again, it's a little bit more of those inconsistencies that us as investors have to question that. And overall though, there was another one. So another very big bullish Lucid fan, which is Lucid, he does talk on ultimately that Lucid did call him and said that he's no longer qualified to get that tax credit because he did not put 5% down. And this is based on IRS, the guidelines within that. So it's one of those things that once again, as I've been bringing up in several videos in the past, it's Lucid not being transparent. And once again, as I have mentioned in the past, it does boil down to this individual who is a VP of marketing and communications. And I personally feel that he is not an asset to Lucid. I keep saying this because it all boils down to him. This completely falls under the communications aspect and also marketing. Lucid should better advertise the qualifications of this, because more so as well, they did recently launch on their website as far as ready to ship vehicles, which again is very optimistic and very good for Lucid, gets a little bit more faster transactions. But once again, in their whole disclaimer on that, it does say tentatively that they're doing this to help people get that EV tax credit. Because obviously if you do obtain your vehicle within 2022, which is roughly about 1 month away, if they do that and pick it up, then yeah, you qualify. But they don't say anything about this kind of little snippet right here. So I did pull up the IRS plug-in electric drive vehicle credit at a glance. So in here, they do talk on as far as the qualifications, Inflation Act, and various other things. So what is a written binding contract? So this is where it says that limits damages to an amount equal to at least 5% of the total contract price. So for instance, if you're getting the Pure or let's say the Touring or whatever floats your boat, you have to do at least 5% as far as down. So it's one of those things that in particularly his case, he only put down 1,000 and that doesn't qualify. So goes back down to the point, miscommunication. And I've always been a very big fan of Lucid's customer service. I've definitely boasted that on a lot of videos in the past. So seeing this kind of situation, it definitely just rubs me the wrong way, plain and simple. And like I already said, it falls back, in my opinion at least, on this individual. But I could be wrong. These videos are for entertainment purposes only. On the actual technicals, keep in mind the market is closed as of right now. We did hold that $10 level fairly well. So again, that could be seen as an optimistic stance. Stochastic is at 4. That is mind-blowingly low. Very, very oversold. Stochastic, number of retail investors are out today a little bit. So whether they are potentially just celebrating, I'm not sure. That's obviously something maybe to monitor continuing forward. Where my cursor is though is at 0. Anything below that is we are losing investors. So like I said, it comes back and stems down to this. So let's go Lucid and also Lucid are extremely big Lucid fans. And so the fact that both of them are again rubbed the wrong way, it kind of coincides with the momentum indicator. So generally speaking, the retail stance is kind of taking a step back. So sentiment on these kind of scenarios are getting hurt. On the actual chart though, like I said, we're in no man's land, just going to follow psychological levels around the hold numbers. So $10, $9.50, $9, that's in reality what is most likely going to occur over the next little bit until we do have our next Fed decision next week as well. We do have a lot of optimistic opportunity to go up, and based on options activity as well, it is pointing to Lucid going to around the $12. So once again, take that how you see that. With all that, let me know your thoughts on Lucid in the comments below. Let me know your stance overall on the institutions getting into Lucid, and as well these two kind of concerns that I did bring up to you. So let me know your thoughts on all of that in the comments below. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. I always greatly appreciate that. If you do like my channel, want to support the growth, take a look at my memberships, link in the description below, or just hit the join button at the bottom of the screen. With that, appreciate you guys watching. Let's all make a lot of money on Lucid.